love the title of the album.
Nectar of the Gods.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I need more elaboration. I mean, this album has different sounds. It's like you looked into, you know, your old, you know, curations
Yes.
of songs, and you put that and said, hey, let me give you guys something different, and you called it nectar, like honey of the gods. Yeah.
So you're right. I did visit like the, you know, my earlier years in music, and so I started off with Jana never fail I yet, walk with me that every step, and then to grateful. I'm grateful for the sun that shines, you know. Before going into the why you come set up yourself, why? You know, the Afrobeat dancehall, you know.
Like
So I
you
kinda
went into
like took
dancehall, yes.
people over the years on that album.
And on a journey. And why did you name it specifically Nectar of the God? It's such a powerful, you know, name. Plus the album cover. You're a whole queen. I mean, you are a queen, but the cover itself,
it
you
says
know,
so.
yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
So,
I know that music is sweet. You know, music carries us through some of the hardest times.
Yeah.
Some of the best times. And so regardless of your background, regardless of your religion, regardless of what your beliefs are, you know music. And so I decided to name it, or my team, and I decided to name it Nectar of the Gods, because nectar, like honey, of the gods in you and me. That's music.
Bless. I see. Like basically what you get from it when you listen, it will be more than just a sound. It will take you through things. But that's how your music has always been.
Music carries us through.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, your music, I was telling you earlier of a friend of mine, and she loves or loved My Man when she had a personal, you know.
Exactly.
Yes, her relationship, she just kept singing it. I'm like, what is going on with you, you know? So how does it feel to affect multitudes of people with your music in that powerful way, and you've never shifted?
No.
You know, you are this way. From if someone is following your journey, you don't change per se as much. You just change the way you articulate some things. So what has made that for you, you know?
Because I have a purpose. My purpose is to inspire people through music, to carry them through some of the hardest times, to give them strength, courage, hope, even some wisdom through it all, you know.
I love it.
And help to make their journeys lighter. And that's what I started out thinking in my mind before I ever wrote a song. I asked myself, what is it that I want to do in music? What do I want to use my talent for? And when I answered that question, I started to write in that way, sing in that way. And I never deviated from that.
You know, your name, Etana, of course, Astronomy Kenzie, and then stage name, Etana.
Yeah.
A strong one. I need that backstory really well. I mean, I have a backstory in my mind, but I need you to elaborate a bit more, because your story growing up is so moving, and it's so powerful. I mean,
well, can you imagine that story that you know of from the beginning, right, is only what I have shared so far? Because I've told a lot of people, if I actually, if I told my whole story, like a lot of people would see me in a different light, you know, it would take them through many different emotions, you know, and so I purposely hold some of it back.
wow.
Purposely. I think when I am ready, I will share the entire story, but I'm just not ready yet.
Wow, that's deep. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, from what I was listening, from what I picked, let me pick this specific part. You're someone with a deep intuition
I am.
of things,
Yeah.
you know, and in the story you are narrating a specific part of your life that was not quite awesome. It is when you dreamt that your aunt had passed on.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually did
so you
have.
heard that story.
Yeah.
So let me share a short version of that. In my dream, I was floating on top, and I saw when she came out of the house, and she squatted like she was urinating outside, and somebody dropped a stone in her head, a big stone. And she started to stagger a little bit, and she lifted her hand, but by the time she lifted her hand, the knife already got her twice in her chest. She ran back inside because someone else was inside, like her cousin, which would be my second cousin, was inside. And he ran inside and stabbed her a couple more times and stabbed the cousin a few more times. He started cutting her. And then she escaped, ran outside, and he followed her. And she fell at the gate, and he stabbed her a few more times. So she got in total like maybe 13 stabs. And she had a full head of hair, like curly, big, almost like yours, but big. So I thought it was my other aunt, because my other aunt has like a full, big head of hair. So I called and I said, what happened to her, that aunt? And my aunt started crying, and she said, not her, Grace. And she said, so I said, is she okay? She said, no, she's gone. And I saw her clothes, I saw everything. I saw it as I was there on top, and I couldn't do anything. I was just floating.
Wow. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, but it's been like maybe 15 years now.
It's been 15 years.
But I mean, I still, to know me is to know me. Like you would have to know. You know, like my other half sometimes get a little weird. He gets a little scared. I remember when he used to walk up to the door, like he would go away. And before he gets to the door, I would open it. And he would say, how did you know
You would
coming?
sense it.
I can feel him totally in every way.
Wow.
So, you know, imagine having to deal with someone that is so spiritual, that knows almost every move and everything.
That is quite essential, and that's quite powerful. I'm almost at a loss of words, but it takes me now to the point of how you write and perceive music, how it comes to you. How does music come to you? Because most people, when they listen, they love Etana. They love how they feel when they listen to your music, whether it's a sad song, whether it's a love song, whether it's a happy song, you know, there's all sorts of emotions coming from it. So when you're in the process of writing, how does that look like for you, especially now that you have given us this other part of yourself that is so dynamic, so spiritual?
Well, I see the world differently. Sometimes so different that I have to, you know, remind myself that everybody else does not see the world the same way.
Right.
You know? So I kind of have to find myself in a space where I can relate, and people can relate to what's on paper and in melody. But still, certain things that I believe in and certain things that I know, I apply it to the lyrics. Like I don't believe in saying anything negative about my own life or my own self, to say like I am poor or certain things I won't say. And the reason for that is I don't want it in the minds of the listeners who are listening.
Right. So your messaging is very specific.
Very specific. I don't want to feed them message of poverty and pain, but of triumph and faith and courage and strength. Purposely. Even in relationships, it's hard for me to say songs like, to say in a song like, I'm gonna die. Like I won't say that. You know, I'd rather flip the word or flip the words to say, to promote life and love. You see?
I see.
So, and then how does the music come to me? I hear it.
In your mind's eye?
Yeah. I can hear it. I can hear the melody. I can hear the lyrics. Everything come at the same time.
So,
and I just write it.
Does that happen anywhere, or when you're in studio?
Anywhere.
Alone? Anywhere. So, for example, give us a scenario. For example, you're in studio.
Yeah.
And there's a producer there or so. Do you tell him, I need you to press these keys?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. I was playing the guitar And I heard, so you beat them, so you mistreat them, so you lock them down in the thing that you won, but we are all meditate. That was done on the guitar. We don't want no trouble. Very first song. That was done inside my apartment in Miami after watching a documentary. Even though you broke my heart. I was in the back of a car, laying down on the back seat,
Okay.
being driven to Kingston after a show in the night. This is now the morning. And I'm driving back to Kingston, watching the trees, and writing the song. By the time I got to Kingston, the song was done already.
Literally just came to you after a performance.
Yeah.
Like you're literally tired,
back
you're
of a
going home with the
car.
back of a car and you're there like.
And you're hearing, even though you broke my heart, and I lay here in the dark.
That is a beautiful song, mind you.
But you must know that
Yeah.
it had to have been like my own experience. Like that song is real, real, real.
You know, you said in an interview that because of your experience, you know, with wanting to know your dad, and now eventually when you found him again at, was it 4 or 5?
So he left when I was 4.
At 4.
And I used to have bad dreams, like, you know, like a bear ate him.
Yeah.
And I would cry for many years, and my mom didn't know what to do. And she searched all over until she found him. And then when I found him, he was living with another woman who had another child. So in my mind, you left me for her and them, you know?
Yeah.
And so I decided then that I didn't need a father, that I didn't need a man. And I grew up that way. Like I was very defensive, you know, very cold, you know? So my approach to relationship was very much like that too. Like I didn't need you. I don't need you.
Right.
Until when I discovered that that's what it was, that because of my father leaving and we were so close, it wasn't that in my mind that he left my mother, is that he left me, right? And so I had to accept it, you know, after recognizing that, you know, relationships, they come with struggles sometimes, and not everyone can manage them. So when you discover and you acknowledge the pain and where it came from, then I was able to move forward. Even when I met my husband, I said, I don't want a relationship like I don't want. Like this stuff that, you know, you're too emotional for me.
I see.
And he was like, well, I don't want this stuff that
Either that you're blocking off from me, you know.
Like, I don't want this either. So I want to be there for you. And when he showed me a different perspective, and it is in understanding that and reflecting on my own life and my own reasons for my choices that I decided to move forward in a marriage.
And before we even get into that, so out of that experience, and you dated a few people who were not good for you because of that experience, this song was born, the one that you wrote at the back of the car, the heartbreak song.
No, it was after he broke my heart, then I wrote it.
Oh, the same guy. He's still the culprit.
he used to have a hard time listening to that song.
Oh,
you know,
knowing, like, literally you married him.
Yeah.
And it's you. But it ends up becoming a beautiful story either way.
Yeah, because as I said, you know, people grow. They sometimes make mistakes. They do different things. I wouldn't even call it a mistake. Like, they have different experiences. They have to figure out where they really want to be, you know? And so I think that's one of the main reasons why, not understanding that part of it, why relationships go apart.
True.
Because people take their own meaning to people's actions that really has nothing to do with them per se. And they take it onto themselves and they decide to go separate ways. But for me, it's overcoming those obstacles and those challenges to move your relationship forward.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, he's your husband and you have beautiful children.
Yes.
Now, how is it now being Etana, the wife?
And the, oh, jeez.
And the mother.
I have a big heart. Like when I love deep. As much as you can hear my lyrics, because I told you I see the world differently.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I'm home, I give my children everything, all of me.
How old?
They're 12 and 8 now.
Oh, bless.
And my son that I had in high school is now 23, 22.
What do you mean you have a 20?
Yeah. And I had him in high school. So when you see him,
Yeah.
like even like when he was growing up, people would say, "Oh, that's your brother," you know, because he looked like I was very, very young, you know, and people would think that that was my brother. And when you see us together now, people still don't think, "Oh, that's her son." They don't think that way, you know. So it's a little challenging for him sometimes too. But he used to say, that is my mom, you know.
And on top of that, he has a famous mom.
Yeah.
How
so
does
he had to deal with that. You know, like fans would walk up and say, "Oh, I love you, Etana," and he said, "You don't love her. You don't even know her." But he was very young.
Yeah.
You know, 7, maybe 6, 7. So he didn't understand yet.
And the protective bit of him is so strong.
Very strong.
How's the youngest now? The boy? He's 8.
No, the 8-year-old is a girl.
Is a girl. Okay. How is she? How does she take all of it?
Energetic. She loves it. She is enjoying when people say, "Oh, that's Etana, that's your mom." She loves that part.
She's like, "Oh, that's
yeah." She loves that part. Yeah. She loves art. Very creative spirit. Very free spirit too, like me, a lot. So I feel like I have to guard her extra to show her and guide her, because I see a lot of me in her. My 12-year-old is also like the other side of me. She's more into voice. Like she sings. She believes in like creating like little movies, you know, cartoon, and doing the voiceovers. But she wants to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Wow.
So she's the kid that will, you know, get like a 85 or a 90, and she goes to the teacher and say, "Why do I have a 90? And what do I have to do to get 100? How do I make this up?" And she won't stop until they tell her how she's going to bring that grade to 100. She doesn't accept anything less.
I love that.
Yeah.
Then you're doing a good job, Mama. Traveling the world.
I think she's just born that way. I think she's just that way, you know. I do encourage her though. Like when she was younger, I would give her gifts for getting 100. So I think I kind of encourage
that part of her. You know, I think what's amazing about your story is you grew up in a household of boys.
Yeah.
Flirteen.
Yeah.
Your mom is a pro. Like she's a G. You know what I mean?
Because no, it's like my aunts. I have 4 aunts, and they all had boys, and I was the only girl for my mom. I'm the only child for my mother.
Oh, I see. So that now is the high.
But
that puts it into perspective. Got you. All right.
My mother was the only working one, the one that graduated from college.
Right.
So she had the responsibility. Well, she took it upon herself to take care of all the sisters' children. So we all were in the same house, and
that sounds like fun. I love the way you describe it, that you'd have, you know, you'd play games at night, you know. Others would be under the bed, for those of you who are on top of it. And
so the ones on the top of the bed would tell ghost stories to the ones under the bottom, and would tell them that the man was going to come for them and pull them by the toe. So the ones under the bed used to be crying, and the ones on top would be laughing. And you know, different like cowboy games and Superman. Like I love to put on the cape.
Yeah.
And when my grandmother was looking or was away, we would go on the roof of the house and jump off the roof and pretend that we were flying like Superman. But of course, we couldn't have our grandmother see that.
Of course,
and we used to. Yeah,
she would have a heart attack. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It'd make her so scared.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds like a beautiful childhood in that sense when you grow up with that community, and it's fun.
It was fun.
But your musical journey is also beautiful too. You know, from Richie Spice encouraging you to take this journey to be a solo artist, and they really had to push you. You know, and then you got into this girl group, but I don't know, it was as if you were a lone ranger, despite the fact you were in Gift, right? Yeah. So give us the dynamics. How was your experience when you're together? You're learning how to work with other artists, sounds, whatnot, but now you still feel like you need to do this.
Because we were restricted. I wasn't able to write my own music. I wasn't able to express myself the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
So we would show up. They provide our clothes from head to toe, and there was a rule that since I didn't want to perm my hair at the time, I wanted to wear my natural hair, and they were like, no, you have to wear braids then, or you have to wear any other hair but yours, and you have to do as we say. But the only part of that was, it was fun. Like, I loved the shopping, the working, the workouts every day, everything. But when we had to wear the lingerie with the thong and do the choreography with the video director going as low as he possibly could to see whatever he wanted to see, I wasn't happy about that.
I see.
And I said to myself, well, hey, you're beautiful. You look like a doll. But is this what you really want? And when they told us that we could take a break, and 2 weeks before coming back together to go to Germany, I said no. I went to Jamaica and I never went back.
Wow.
And
that was
I had
in
to
Miami.
tell them that I wasn't coming back. Yeah.
All right.
So it was a sad moment. It was hard. But I just never wanted that for myself, to be honest. I just didn't want that.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Now, Etana, we're taking a short break. We'll be back with more of this queen in just a bit. Stay with us.
Nakoboya ba camarade nyonso na mokili.